a crazy person.
All right, now we're gonna get into comments made by little known rapper, underground, low key. IDK is one of those rappers you don't really know who he is unless you're a hardcore fan.
Right.
Um, but he's on the, he's, I guess you would consider him up and coming because of how young he is, his age. But he made some comments that got people talking recently when he said he thinks the big three should retire and make way for the new generation. So, for anyone who doesn't know what the big three in hip hop refers to, it refers to Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake. Whenever anybody refers to the big three in rap, they're specifically talking about those three guys. I guess we've all come to the consensus that the three I guess we've all collectively come to the consensus that the three top guys are those three. J. Cole. I wasn't a part of that meeting, but
Me
apparently
either. I didn't vote on that.
apparently that meeting took place somewhere in a darkened room, and it was decided by the coalition that Drake and Kendrick and J. Cole make up the big three.
The Confederation.
Right. Well, IDK thinks that these guys need to move over and make way for the new generation, and people aren't necessarily liking what he had to say here. So this article says IDK catches heat for suggesting Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole should just retire. The big three discussion has dominated the hip hop space over the last few weeks. It's become such a notable talking point, in fact, that rappers who don't even have a connection to Drake, J. Cole, or Kendrick Lamar have taken to social media to give their opinions on the trio's legacy. IDK is the latest rapper to get in on the discussion. Rather than debate which of the big three is the best, however, he took a broader stance that had some Twitter users up in arms. IDK's tweet was simple yet controversial. The big three need to retire and make way, he wrote on March 30th. Wanting to see rappers rise up and take the mantle is not an especially hot take, especially since the trio of Drake, Cole, and Kendrick have been making hits for close to 15 years. It was the suggestion that they should give up the mantle, however, that rubbed fans the wrong way. IDK's tweet was flooded with responses telling him to snatch the crown and put in work to dethrone the big three himself. IDK addressed these responses the next day when he tweeted, "Dry humor doesn't work on this platform." The rapper's attempts to make light of the semi-viral tweet didn't stop fans from calling him out, though, so he decided to use Kendrick Lamar's lyrics to bolster his original point. He retweeted a screenshot of 2010's Monster Freestyle, in which K-Dot raps that Jay-Z should have retired. IDK posted the screenshot along with the message, "This is also Kendrick." So yeah, Mr. IDK, he walked it back. He tried to make it seem like he was joking. I don't know if you're falling for that or not.
No.
But what do you make of IDK's comments that the big three should retire?
I mean, this is just what is that? What is that? All right, so I don't know who this person is. Sorry, IDK fan. Sorry, IDK himself, because I'm pretty sure he's gonna run across this video. So, hey, man, my bad, bro. I don't know who you are. So that's no slight. I'll probably listen to it. So publicity worked. So publicity worked. Hey, good job, sir. Engagement is engagement. Any publicity is good publicity. So it worked in this context. So I'll give him a listen, but I'm different than others, Mr. IDK. I don't like being tricked. So just the same thing I mentioned in the last topic, where I heard of Lizzo's antics before I heard her music. You're already starting off on the wrong foot. So with this situation here, it seems a little backhanded, a little, I got something for y'all. And I feel like he had that receipt lined up for the criticism. I felt like that's what I'm saying. Now, this was weird. And this is also your boy Kendrick. He said it. So it's like, well, you doubling down and basically backing it up. Basically saying that the point is valid. So to me, this whole exchange is weird. I don't do face piercings. Uh, I don't know what's going on with this stuff. So this guy to me seems real gimmicky, real Troy Ave energy. So I'm not really vibing with that, but I'll still listen to his music, man. Because if he's saying some stuff and he be snapping, then I might have, his first impression was a bad one. So, but that's just my first impression and my thoughts on bro here talking about they need to move aside. I got more to say on that, but that's just initial. Sir, what do you think about Sir IDK?
Yeah, I think he may have been tongue in cheek with it, but I think that oftentimes when people say things passive aggressively or they're tongue in cheek, they can say that they didn't mean it or it was a joke, but there was at least a decent amount of sincerity in their comments, right? That's what passive aggressiveness is all about. Like, don't take me seriously. I'm just saying stuff. But it came from somewhere where
Right.
they kind of do feel like that about life. So I feel like this guy who probably wants to be a bigger name in the game probably thinks he deserves to be a bigger star. And even though he's not necessarily citing any of the members of the big three directly as the reason why he's not bigger, he also realizes that were they no longer to exist, there would be like a gaping hole that needed to be occupied by new blood, so to speak. And I don't know if in his mind, maybe he thinks of himself as a potential part of that new blood that can occupy that space. But my point overall is that I think it at least came in some small way. It was a little sincere, at least to a small degree. But I hate this. I don't like this. The spirit of the comments to me are absolutely utterly disgusting. And it
Yeah.
reminded me, I don't like it when, and I'm gonna sound like old get off my lawn guy.
Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Hey. We born in the 80s, dog. We don't play these games.
I don't like it when newer generations, younger generations, whatever, snot nosed, loudmouth, social media addicted, non work ethic, non accountability having jits want to tell people, want to tell the generations ahead of them that despite the fact that the older generation is still dominating, they need to move out of the way and let the new school people have their turn. No, like nothing is given to you. You don't get something as a gift. You have to earn it through the work that you put in. What kind of bull job is that? To quote Shannon Sharp. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you want it to be handed to you? If you bought that life and you're so good, go ahead and claim your spot. What the hell is this whole you need to retire thing? I don't like stuff like that because it speaks to this hyper obsession with youth and ageism that we got going on, not just in the hip hop industry, but in the world at large, where it's like people just want to throw you in the trash once you turn 30. Like you have nothing to contribute to the world because you're 30. Oh, he's old or she's old. Move out of the way, old person. Give us our time now. We're better just because we're younger. Hey, newsflash, jits, you're not better because you're younger. In a lot of ways, you're actually worse because you're younger. You just don't know it. Okay. And this reminded me back in the day. I remember this like night and day because I'm such a huge Jay-Z fan. I remember when the game first came out and the game was inventing beefs with Jay-Z. Like the game had some kind of issue with Jay-Z. Like I don't know where this came from, but it was like the game kept taking subtle shots and making these diss songs that were clearly directed towards Jay-Z. And the one common theme inherent in all of the game's music at the time was Jay-Z needs to stop rapping because he's old. Mind you, the guy wasn't even at the time. It's like Jay-Z was like 37, 30. It's not like he was old for real. He was just like, I guess, old in rap years. But this was like 2005, 6-ish, somewhere around there. So the guy wasn't even 40 years old yet. And the game is like, get out of here because you're old. He wasn't saying get out of here, Jay-Z, because your skills are washed. He didn't say get out of here, Jay-Z, because you no longer sell albums. He wasn't saying get out of here, Jay-Z, because no one listens to your music. He wasn't saying get out of here, Jay-Z, because your albums are subpar and you're not as good as you used to be. He was just saying you're old. So stop rapping. And it was so annoying because my whole thing was, and what, so that you can have his spot? Like, so I need to no longer be able to hear new Jay-Z music so that I can now hear new music from The Game, whose literal only style as a rapper is being a name dropper.
I can't stand it.
I don't want to hear you name dropping for 16 songs on an album, 4 minutes apiece. Why do I want to hear that? Why do I want to hear you name dropping Dwight Howard in your songs? I don't want to hear that. But I don't like stuff like that. You know, it's one thing if you wanted to do it in sports, because in sports everyone has a physical peak. You peak and then you decline. So if there's a young bull, right? Like let's say Anthony Edwards was like, "Hey, I'm better than bro. He need to go retire." And he's talking about an older veteran who's not nearly as good as he was in his prime. And you got Anthony Edwards out here hitting his head on the backboard, dunking on people at will, dropping 40 every other game. I'd be like, okay, that's kind of how the spirit of competition works in sports. You have a physical peak and then you decline. So it is what it is. In music, as long as your mind is sharp, I don't want to hear that. If you can keep going, no one has the right to say y'all need to retire and bow out. Mind you, this is coming from someone who is not a Drake fan at all.
Right.
At all. The complete opposite. And this is also coming from someone who, on the record, has said Kendrick Lamar kind of overrated. I've said that. I know, right? I know. Hey, man. I know, right? Everybody gonna come at me now. I know To Pimp a Butterfly was a classic. I get it. Yeah, the Damn album, To Pimp a Butterfly, all of these things were classics, whatever. But this is coming from somebody who is trying to be objective here, because I'm not the biggest fan of these people. I think Drake is a minstrel show and a clown. But at the end of the day, he does have his place in this ecosystem, and no one has the right or the clout to be like, retire so I can have my spot. What is it with this hand-me-down shit?
I don't
These
know.
crybaby Fortnite Gen Z little snot nose. Like, listen, nothing belongs to you. Nothing belongs to you. Okay? Like when the generation that precedes the big three stopped being as active, they came into their own, you know, which it helped that they have the talent and the ability that they have, but they came into their own and they seized their position. No one, Jay-Z and Nas and all of these other people, DMX and all of these other people, they weren't like, hey, here you go, Jadakiss and all of these people. They weren't like, hey, Kendrick Lamar, I'm done. Go ahead. It's your turn to be a star now. This is a new phenomenon with this. We just touched on it tangentially with Lizzo. This new thing of just no accountability, Crimea River, victimhood, no work ethic, mumbo jumbo. It comes from the same place. So get out of here. I don't like it. I don't want to hear it. When the game was on that tip back then, I was like, get out of here. You're done. I don't want it. No one wants to hear that from you. Stop it with your name dropping. And the irony right now is Game is like that age now, and he's still rapping. So what was the point of all of that? You wanted Jay-Z to stop rapping because he was almost 40. And the Game, I believe, is either close to or at this point 40, somewhere around there, and he still be rapping. So what the hell was all of that for? And I'm just, this is just crybaby attention-seeking behavior 101. And he can say that it was a joke and it was tongue-in-cheek and whatever, but that stuff tends to at least come from a small place of sincerity. So I'm not buying that BS. And these people need to stop it with this. It's a joke. It really is.
Hey, man, I'm sitting here looking up how old bruh is. Man, he was born in 92. So this guy's 31 years old. He's going to be 32 next month. Bro, on this, if you're following the old head guidelines, bro, you got like a 3-year window. Then you have to give it up again. What are you talking about, bro? So, yeah, I don't know what that is. But again, man, to name yourself IDK, that's another strike on this guy. Because it's a popular thing to use. So you're going to run across his name just by typing IDK. It's a shtick. Much like this tweet. So he's to me that's playing games. I don't like that. To me, that's I'll do anything to make it. Fake it till you make it. And for him to even try to do this is laughable. So yeah, man, he was born in '92. He's 31. And I still haven't heard a song of his. So I don't know when he plans on being one of the top whatever MCs. And again, it's not like I agree. I mean, it's not like I agree that these are the top three. That these aren't my top three.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to I guess industry superstars, and they just give me a list of things and they want me to tear it out, based upon whatever. And it's like, okay, this is what the masses like. So I'll put these guys in the top 5 because of what masses like. But whoopie whoop. But I also agree. I'm a big fan of Kendrick the person. I think I like what he does or try to do. Aesthetically, I'm not really digging the sounds, the beat, the flows sometimes. But the guy's good. It's no slight. It's just not. It don't. I don't know, for whatever reason it don't sync with my listening. And J. Cole, I haven't really listened to thoroughly. I listened to that Forest Hills Drive thing. That
That was
thing
the
was going
biggest
crazy.
one. I think that was his biggest. I think that's probably his career peak at this point. I think. Yeah.
That was his best album because the other one was his mixtapes because his mixtapes went crazy for me. But that was to me that was his best album, and I did used to listen to that a lot. So yeah, I hold to Kendrick and J. Cole to a high esteem. But Drake, no, I don't. But no one can refute this guy being up there. But this whole thing, and just like how somebody mentioned to this guy, it's like, yo, get on your grind, bro, and put in the work. Apparently he didn't go to enough Diddy parties. So yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to get with the right execs, bro. You slipping. Ask Meek Mill, man. Try to get some connects. So, man, yeah, because that's the only way you gonna make it, bruh. So I don't know about this, man. I don't like gimmicky behavior. To me, this was a gimmicky tweet with a smart alecky gimmicky response back to the people that had something to say about it. It's a little too much for me. But I still said I'll listen to it. Because when I did start, looking this guy up or whatever, there's stuff going around. People are listening to it. So I like to see what people are listening to. And if I listen to it and it's trash, then it's like, man, a lot of people like trash. And that's another thing too, man. I feel like people be liking people because it's a lot of plays. A lot of other people like it, so I must like it. And it's
It's
like,
groupthink. Yeah.
yeah, it's
It
like,
is.
but this
Yeah.
ain't good.
Yeah.
You do hear the trash in this. No, nope.
Yeah.
Everybody else banging it, I'm banging.
That's how I
And
feel about Drake. That's how I feel about Drake. I feel like people be knowing that it's not good, but I think they've been programmed to automatically default to the position that if it's Drake, they gotta like it.
yeah, I
Because
mean,
I mean, there's no way that all of y'all can just like. There's no way that all of these people can just like all of these Drake songs. They don't be that good. They don't. They don't be good at all. And I think Drake is such a troll at this point. He knows that he can just make dumb shit, and it's like, oh yeah, like Drake is ascending to the point of Beyonce, Taylor Swift level in terms of having like zombie fans.
oh yeah,
And
totally.
but I agree with you 100%. I think it's groupthink mentality. I think people are programmed to believe that if it's Drake that made it, it must be good. Very much in the same way that people are programmed with, like, speaking of Kendrick, this weird thing happened with Kendrick where he just kind of got lumped in with consciousness,
Mhm.
even though he's not a conscious rapper. So now when Kendrick does things, people are already kind of programmed to believe that he's on a conscious tip.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of times with his music, he be rapping on surface level stuff. But because he's the one who's doing it, it must be on a higher plane of thinking. And it's like, no, not all the time. It's not like that all the time. Sometimes this guy got on a remix with Future rapping about Molly Percocet, the mask off remix. Like, Kendrick is not always on that. But it's like people get their preconceived notions and they stick and they just don't go anywhere. But I think it's groupthink. I really do think it's groupthink mentality with this music stuff, because I agree with you. It don't be good, and I don't even think that that's my old school ear. I think that that's my objective ear. Like, why do y'all think
It's
this is
totally
good?
objective. I've
Yeah,
I've heard, because I was partial. I'm a big Timberland fan, and when 808 Mafia started doing what they were doing, I was like, hey man, this go hard, and this crazy. And I was like, well, these guys can't be better. I've heard some beats that rival or are better than Timberland beats that Southside did, and what TM88 did. Those
right.
guys, I mean, they've done some very high quality stuff. And so to the point where I was like, why y'all giving Young Thug beats? I was so upset when that whole wave started. Why y'all giving Young Thug beats? But yeah, nah, I know. Yeah. But still, I if I hear something new, people say 808 Mafia and stuff. Granted, they're not new, but if they're my whole thing is, I'm not, even if I have a strong bias towards, a group, an era, an individual. If I hear something that's new from a new person that rivals it, or whatever, I'll listen to it. There's some rappers that I listen to that are younger than me. That's kind of weird. By the way, I don't wear jerseys of people that are younger than me. I think that's weird. But honestly, if the guy is good enough, he respects the game or whatever it is good enough, then I would wear a jersey to support. You know what I'm saying? But same thing with young rappers. I'll listen to them if they good. But if you around here trying to tell me about the game of life and how I work out here and all this other stuff, how these young trap rappers try to tell me how life go. It's like, nah, bro, you still got a lot of living to do. I don't want to hear your life lessons, And but I'm willing to evolve, you know. So I'm not out here. I'm not a get off my lawn person. I know you ain't either, But it sounds like that, you know.
Right. Yeah.
It sounds like that because we come from a different generation and we have a standard. And right now the standard's not being lived up to. So yeah, man, I'll call this stuff out all day. I'll call out this behavior all day. I don't care for this stuff, man. The more I
Yeah.
talk about it, this
Yeah.
IDK guy, man, the more I don't know about him. So
Yeah. He needs to sit his ass down. And
care for that,
yeah,
man.
I've said this before, but rap's greatest impediment
Mm,
is its hyper obsession with youth. That's its greatest problem. Now,
yeah, man.
it has many problems, but as it continues to age, it clearly, glaringly, to me, in my opinion, is
Mhm,
starting to show how much of an impediment to its evolution hyper obsession with age is. And these kind of comments kind of speak to that, because what the hell does that even mean? They need to retire for what? What is retirement? As long as your mind is sharp, what do we do? This is not basketball or football or you know what I'm saying? We're not playing a sport where there's a physical window that you have to capitalize on. This is like the mind, and as long as the mind is sharp, there's no retirement that needs to be had here. But
mhm.
if he is of the mindset that if you're rapping, you need to be a certain age, then of course he would make dumbass comments like that. But that to me is a tremendous impediment to this game overall. And it's one of the many things that has it, in my opinion, in the shitter, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah, I can't take that tweet or this person serious right now. So
Yeah, yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
IDK.
yeah.
I don't know what that
You're
was for.
done, bro. But you made it here. You made it here to conscious approach, though.
Hey,
So
man. Hey, welcome,
good,
bro.
good. Yeah, good look there. Good
Yeah.
looking.
Hey, hit like and subscribe, bro. We be chilling, though.